Welcome. Welcome everybody. How are you doing today? It's so very nice to have you here. So we have a couple of 3-hour intensives coming up, or 3-hour calls that you can do separately or together as an intensive on some very interesting topics: overcoming obstacles to practice and how to embody challenging states like fear, anger, and so on. So when I speak about practice, I'm really not speaking about becoming presence. We are presence. Presence is our true nature, and it's already here. So even in this moment, you can simply notice that. So when I speak about practice, I'm speaking about breaking the habit of identifying yourself as something that you are not. Breaking the habit of identifying yourself as this arising sense of I. Establishing a new habit of really knowing yourself as presence. And also growing the capacity of the nervous system to be here. That's also a new habit, growing the capacity of the nervous system to be here. So you know already that when past arises, it shows up in our physiology. You're going to experience it as thoughts, feelings, sensations, emotions. And here we can either follow it, which is reenacting of the past. That's what makes past stronger. And when I say past, I mean unfinished, unmet tendencies that have been here sometimes for millions of years. So when that arises, and if there is no discrimination, no vigilance, no noticing of it and recognizing it for what it is, then our attention moves with that. We can also try to suppress the past. We have all tried it before. Not only doesn't it work, but it also makes the past stronger. Or we can experience it just the way it arises here. And that moment of experiencing it is what I call inquiry or practice. So why is it difficult for us to sit, with what is, which we know it works, right? We have experienced so many times that it works, and yet it's difficult for us to sit, and there are several reasons for that. One is we just don't know how. That's why I teach in my programs so much about so many skills of how to do it, so you can do it on your own. The desire for truth is not strong enough. We so often say to ourselves, I want to be free, I want to awaken, I want truth and freedom. But then in a moment when past arises, where is our attention? Meaning our action in a moment doesn't reflect that desire. So often also in a nervous system that is impaired, sitting quietly is perceived as danger. It's too close to the free state. It's too close to, this unknown of not knowing what's going to happen. So when there's a lot of impairment or past in the nervous system, it may be just too challenging to sit. And also, of course, so often we experience fight, flight, freeze, overwhelm when past arises. And then it's, again, without the skills, it's very difficult to just simply be present. So it is also very powerful to embody the states that arise, especially states that are challenging, because we have an unconscious habit or an aversion to difficult states, right? So embodiment of those difficult states, anger, fear, and so on, it really is very, very powerful, because what it does, it stops the perpetuation of the past. One of the ways that the past perpetuates, which means continues, it's our action in the world. So if our action in the world is based on the past, when past shows up in your physiology and the action arises from that, or the state is not embodied and we, act from reactivity, right? Then the past continues. And these states can be challenging to embody because, again, there's so much resistance to that. And also, collectively, there's a lot of judgment on things like fear, anger, frustration, and the challenging states like that. So the moment we are able to embody that state, first of all, we come back to rest. Again, we can find presence very directly. And also in that moment, or eventually we know what is the movement that actually arises here, a movement that is not based on the past, a movement that is based on what is actually present here in a moment. So I will be speaking about this and more, and of course we'll have time for questions and a lot of time to practice this together. And you can join me in one of those calls or both. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there.